All right, welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to delve into a topic of critical importance in our modern economic landscape, the role of AI assistance as a strategic instrument for survival. We'll be exploring how organizations from emerging startups to established enterprises are leveraging this technology not just for a competitive edge, but as a foundational necessity to navigate an increasingly volatile world. So here's our roadmap for today's discussion. We'll begin by examining the core problem, what we're calling the volatility challenge. From there, we'll redefine our understanding of AI as a systemic approach. Then we'll get practical, looking at how it reveals hidden inefficiencies and forges strategic resilience. And we'll conclude by synthesizing these ideas to understand AI's role as a stabilizing force. Let's begin with our first section, the volatility challenge. The central premise here is that the very nature of our economic environment has changed, rendering many conventional business strategies insufficient, and in some cases obsolete. In conditions of significant economic instability, the speed of change often outpaces our human capacity to react using these outdated methods. We're talking about rapid, unpredictable shifts in consumer demand, supply chains, and market sentiment. Traditional models, which were built for a slower, more predictable era, simply cannot process information fast enough to generate a timely and effective response. Now, this slide illustrates the fundamental paradigm shift we're discussing. On one side, you have the traditional approach. This model is inherently reactive. It's based on historical data, intuition, which can be flawed, and reporting that often has a significant time lag. On the other side, we have the AI-enabled paradigm. This is proactive. It's driven by objective, real-time data, removing much of the guesswork and emotional bias from critical strategic decisions. So, this naturally brings us to our next section. Here, we're going to establish a core principle for this lecture, the necessity of viewing AI not merely as a discrete tool, but as an integrated system that fundamentally redefines economic strategy. This definition is absolutely crucial to our understanding. A systemic support mechanism isn't about automating a single task. Instead, it's an integrated layer of intelligence that permeates the entire organization. It acts almost like a digital nervous system, processing vast, complex data streams in real time to provide a foundational support structure that enhances the entire organization's ability to withstand shocks. And this slide illustrates the breadth of information that feeds into this system. We're talking about a continuous analysis of internal data like financial reports and operational metrics, combined with external data like market trends and risk indicators. By synthesizing these disparate sources, AI builds a comprehensive, multi-dimensional view of the economic landscape that would be impossible for a human team to assemble and analyze in real time. Okay, so having established the theoretical framework, let's move to a practical application. In this section, we'll analyze how AI functions as a diagnostic tool, revealing critical problems that are often invisible to traditional analysis. Let's consider this very common scenario. A small to medium-sized enterprise, perhaps a retail business, is experiencing a decline in profitability. The owner is faced with a critical question. What is the root cause? Is it an issue with pricing strategy, inventory mismanagement, ineffective marketing spend? Without precise data, any action taken is essentially speculative, a high-stakes guess. This is where the AI diagnostic process becomes so powerful. It follows a rigorous, multi-step methodology. First, it aggregates all relevant data sources. Second, and this is key, it isolates individual variables to test their impact independently. This leads to the third step, a true root cause analysis, moving beyond mere correlation. And finally, it translates that analysis into a concrete, actionable insight. So, what does this look like in practice? The system can determine if a pricing adjustment on one product is negatively impacting sales of another. It can identify inefficiencies in inventory that lead to excess holding costs. It can even parse customer behavior to find points of friction. This is what allows a business to shift from speculative guesswork to survival-oriented, evidence-based decision-making. This brings us to the long-term strategic impact of this approach. We're moving beyond simple diagnostics to understand how this data-driven clarity builds genuine, lasting organizational resilience. It's a shift from constant firefighting to proactive, strategic planning. There's a crucial psychological component to this as well. High-stakes decision-making under uncertainty often leads to cognitive biases and reactive, fear-based choices. By providing objective clarity about an organization's true economic position, AI assistance mitigates this strategic uncertainty. This allows leaders to respond to pressure calmly and methodically, rather than simply reacting to the latest crisis. And this table here delineates the profound cultural transformation that occurs. Notice the shift in every category. The decision driver moves from intuition and panic to data and insight. The focus evolves from short-term survival tactics to long-term stability planning. And the ultimate outcome changes from a state of high uncertainty to one of controlled, strategic adaptation. Finally, let us synthesize these points to arrive at our conclusion. We will now consider the ultimate role of AI, not just for a single firm, but as a stabilizing force within the broader contemporary economic system. This statement really encapsulates our core argument. The key concept here is integration. When AI is woven into the fabric of daily operations and long-term planning, it transcends being a mere tool. It becomes a fundamental stabilizing force, much like a gyroscope, allowing an organization to maintain its equilibrium and navigate through turbulence with far greater confidence and control. So, to summarize our lecture, these are the foundational concepts I want you to take away. First, that AI should be understood as a systemic support mechanism, not just a tool. Second, that it enables evidence-based decisions by revealing previously hidden inefficiencies. Third, that it fosters a proactive organizational culture, which is the bedrock of long-term resilience. And finally, that it acts as a critical stabilizing force in volatile economic conditions. I will leave you with this final question to consider as you reflect on the material we have covered today. As our economic systems continue to grow in complexity and unpredictability, have we reached a point where AI-driven resilience is no longer simply a competitive advantage, but an absolute necessity for survival? That is something for you to contemplate. Thank you.